Copy. We're getting a buildup of activity here too.
Yeah, I definitely see weapons at this point.
Yeah, we have definite massing.
I really want to start with congratulations on the movie. I'm fascinated by editing. Alex knows this about me. And I'm so curious, like, because everything in this film was so meticulously figured out and planned in advance, what was the edit like in terms of finding the cut? Like, did you have deleted scenes? Were there things removed, or is it pretty much exactly what you guys envisioned?
The thing is that so many of the questions that often exist in a film just don't exist in this film. So I have never, prior to this, shot a film where you didn't remove a scene or take a scene from one place and try it another, reorder scenes, and none of that was an option here. Because we were very strictly following a sequence of events, and we had a rule which is we were not allowed to editorialize, which is slightly different from the actual editing. But then within the scene, it would depend on the scene. So, for example, in moments of combat, Ray would have some very, very specific things that he wanted to make sure the viewers were able to see, and also make sure veterans would be able to see. And Ray, you should speak to your eye for detail, really.
In regards to the firefight, there is a language there that I think only anyone who's been in a gunfight or in maybe in infantry will understand, and that's just kind of these like handoffs, the flow, the steps of setting up security, how to break it down, to how to set up another corner, and so on and so forth, and kind of this rolling gunfight and the protocols and the principles of that, and just really get into the idiosyncrasies of that and showing that. And I think just the technical side came with just like eye lines and not crossing the line and when to cross the line, which obviously our editor, Finn Oates, who was amazing at educating me, and along with Alex. So I was just like, hey, we need to get these little connective tissues, because I really wanted to be the best gunfight ever. That's the goal. And so they're helping me understand how to connect all those things and trying to find the shots to connect it, and so on and so forth, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
So I'm so curious where you decided to end the film, because everything in the film is what actually happened, memories of the people that were involved. But the last shot is like one of the last, I forget if it's the last shot, is the families sort of coming out and with the rubble and the smoke. And how did you decide that was going to be the ending?
We didn't put anything in the film that wasn't in some way verifiable by a memory. Wherever that memory was from, nothing in the film is an invention.
No, I wasn't saying it's an invention. I was just saying, how did you decide that was going to be I guess also, how is that going to be the closing of the film?
Well, in some ways, I think the reason it ended up ultimately as the ending of the film is that there's a strange way in which the house becomes a character. And once you've left the house, once you've left the street, in a sense, that street shot is like a wide shot of that character in some strange way. Once you've left it, that the film just feels over. The story, this window of time that we were trying to recreate as accurately and honestly as possible, that window is closing. So it's like it's done. I think on top of that, film and truth and representations of reality, or then romanticizing or over dramatizing, film's got such a complicated long history with these things. And having spent a long time in the recreation, it felt important to add to that a sequence of images that in a way don't just show the actors alongside their real life counterpart, but also show the recreation of this. We don't try and pretend that something was happening that wasn't happening. You didn't watch the event, you saw a recreation of the event, but the recreation you saw was informed directly by people that were there. And so it felt necessary to kind of add that to the viewer's understanding of the film. So in some senses, for me, the film doesn't actually end with the wide shot of the street. It actually ends with the last of those photographs. That they're not a credit sequence. They are actually part of the film itself.
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to love this movie. For both of you, what do you think would surprise soon-to-be fans to learn about the making of the film?
Surprised? I would say the amount of responsibility I think I allowed to have the cast to have. They had a lot of autonomy. I gave them objectives. Each character had his role and things they needed to do. And there's training, the weapons training, but a lot of it, like the secret sauce for me, was giving them the ownership to embody this culture, the brotherhood, kind of this frat-like environment. And I put a lot of things in place to ensure that happened, and I set it up that way. But something special did happen. They just, I've worked on sets with semi-big, like large casts, and they just don't gel, whether it's because they're an older, they're a little bit more established actor, and they just rather just spend time in their trailer. Right. What was special about these guys is that they were all young. They were chosen for being youthful, but they genuinely embodied. They just all clicked. And I think once hopefully they get to see that. There's no way for anyone to know it other than maybe some posts and some things we may put out. But I think they would be surprised of how close they were and still continue to be, which I love to see because that's very much like how we are. It is freaky. I was jealous because I wanted to be a part of it. But it just reminded me. It was like looking into a window through the past. It was surreal for me.
You want to add anything, Alex?
Well, in a way, I can tell you one of the things that I found surprising, and maybe a viewer would find surprising if they had access to it, was the sort of blurring of the lines between a recreation of something and the thing itself. And of course, it is just a recreation, but it would be for viewers to imagine that when they're watching Cosmo Jarvis or Joe Quinn acting these incredibly vulnerable moment of extreme trauma and extreme injury, to imagine that actor had the person that they were playing, their real life counterpart, just a few feet away from them watching, either just standing on the side of the set or watching on a monitor with headphones on, and what that did to the atmosphere on the set. The sense of responsibility that already existed but got exponentially magnified. And the weight that the actors were carrying, but also the weight we were all carrying. Maybe no one more than Ray, but I sort of felt for those actors at that moment. That must have been quite intimidating, actually. For me, it would be that.
I got to stop. I'm just going to say sincerely, great work. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your speed dating.
Thanks.
Thanks.